Some of the biggest mistakes we see clients make happen before they even walk through the door, and the funny thing is, they don't even realise it. So in this video today, I'm going to explain 6 things I recommend not doing before your first tattoo, so you don't have to make the same common mistakes. This one happens way more than you'd think, and what most clients don't realise is that applying numbing cream before your appointment without your tattooer's consent can badly backfire in more ways than one. The client shows up with cling film half hanging off the area they want tattooed, and immediately we know they've tried numbing the area with some cream they found online. Unfortunately for them, they don't realise what happens next. So let's just take out of the equation for the moment that the artist hasn't refused to tattoo you for using the cream. Extreme I know, but happens. A lot of the time it has no effect, which means you've wasted your time and your money. Sometimes it makes the skin react badly, and other times it actually makes the tattoo more painful. Now, numbing creams can work, but only if applied properly around 2 hours before you get tattooed under an airtight wrap. Even then, the results are different for everyone, and the effects can wear off quickly. Some creams can even mess with the healing of a tattoo, leading to patchy colour and wobbly lines. So my best advice? Talk to your artist first. Some don't mind their clients using it, and if that's the case, they can recommend a brand that's safe to use and talk you through applying it properly for best results. Does the idea of feeling the pain for your first tattoo worry you, or are you expecting it not to be that bad? I would love to hear from you, so let me know in the comments below. Now, there's definitely nothing wrong with your morning coffee before your appointment, but if our beloved caffeine is consumed in excessive amounts, it can definitely cause some problems for you. When you're getting tattooed, you have one job to do, and that is to lie down as still as possible. I'm far from the sharpest tool in the box, but it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out that caffeine is not your ally in this situation. A major side effect is that it releases adrenaline, which can cause anxiety, which in turn will make you jittery, unable to sit still, and more difficult to tattoo. Think about it like this. We use coffee for things like energy or focus, studying, driving long distances, or getting jacked and tan. Why? Because caffeine sharpens our alertness and fires up the nervous system. That little boost is great when you need to be switched on physically or mentally, but it also makes the body more susceptible to pain, which in turn makes a session suck way more than it needs to. And on top of all this, it can also thin the blood, which means more wiping, more irritation, and potentially a longer appointment. My advice? Skip the crazy energy drinks and triple espressos, sure have your morning coffee, but then switch to drinking water instead. A lot of people think taking ibuprofen before their tattoo will reduce the pain, but what they don't realise is it makes no difference whatsoever. And to make things even worse, again it thins the blood. All it's really doing is making the tattoo harder for the artist. Ink is mixing with the blood, the stencil starts to disappear, and while all this is going on, ironically, it's becoming even more painful. The application of a tattoo won't mean much to you, but in short this means you have to go over the area again and again until the ink is in the skin. But the problem here is, it's very easy to overwork and damage the skin, which results in a poorly healed tattoo. I'm not a doctor clearly, so I'm not giving medical advice, but if you're worried about the pain, speak to your tattooer before the appointment. They'll most likely recommend paracetamol or something else, but an even better solution is to skip the painkillers and numbing creams and focus on getting a good night's sleep, be hydrated and eat well in the morning of your appointment. Want to know what else makes a world of difference in how well your tattoo heals? Alcohol. Now, I know this might be a touchy subject, and some of you might think a couple of beers the night before will calm your nerves. But sadly, alcohol also thins your blood, just like ibuprofen and caffeine. Again, thinner blood means the same problems. More bleeding, more irritation, harder work for the artist, resulting in worse results. Now, I know some of you might be yelling at the screen. I had 15 pints the night before and my tattoo healed perfectly. If that's you, let me know. But in my 20 years of tattooing, statistically, results are always better when you don't have booze in your bloodstream. The other issue is dehydration. Alcohol dries you out, which makes your skin extra sensitive and a tattoo is far more painful. It should go without saying, but don't have a few lunchtime beers or holiday fishbowl and then decide it would be fun to get a tattoo. I've lost count of the amount of holiday tattoos we've had to cover up in our shop, and I know I sound like a complete fun sponge, but at best they're embarrassing, at worst they're a permanent regret. Some clients tense up and suffer way more than they need to, from the very first line to the last. And almost every time, it comes down to one simple avoidable mistake. Sometimes they're rushing, sometimes they're chronic breakfast dodgers living purely on caffeine. But whatever your reason, one thing you really shouldn't do is show up to your tattoo appointment without eating first. Now, you might be thinking, but I'm just not hungry in the mornings. But when you don't eat, your blood sugar quickly drops. That's when you get shaky, irritable, lightheaded, and then you're about to sit through a painful procedure. When your blood sugar's low, your body goes into survival mode, stress hormones rise, your nerves become more sensitive, and your pain tolerance drops. Essentially, you're at risk of feeling like crap and passing out. A really good tip for someone who can't face solid food in the mornings: try getting your calories in liquid form. A high-calorie protein shake works great. Something tasty, easy to sip, with a mix of carbs and fats to fuel you for your tattoo session. Imagine trying to study in a library, and suddenly a group of loud, excited teenagers walk in. That's exactly what it feels like when someone brings a crowd of friends to a tattoo appointment for moral support. This is a bit of a grey area, and it will depend on the shop, so always check their policy first. But honestly, we actually prefer our clients come alone. Friends can actually be distracting, not only for you, the client, but also for the artist. You'll chat, laugh, gesture, all the things that make it harder to stay still, which can be very difficult for the tattooer to concentrate and get the job done. I've also noticed that when clients bring friends along, they tend to exaggerate the pain. Unfortunately, this type of distraction just slows everything down. It seems that when people are being watched, they naturally seem to perform more. I really love the social atmosphere in our small shop, but unfortunately, too many people make it crowded, loud, and distracting. Be respectful of your artist's work environment, and always check first if it's okay to bring a friend along to your appointment. So if you're getting your first tattoo and you have more questions, check out my series. It's packed with tips to make sure your first experience goes smoothly. And if you got value from this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.